Sometimes I feel like I'm living in the past, holding on to fragments of a time that no longer exists. But it's hard to let go of something that once felt so real, so full of promise. I keep asking myself where it all went wrong, why we couldn't make it work. It's a question that haunts me every day, and yet I still can't seem to find an answer that brings me peace. I think about the way things used to be, and it feels like a distant dream, something beautiful yet out of reach, like a time I can never go back to, no matter how hard I wish for it. I can't stop thinking about what we had, even though I know it's over. It's like a part of me is still holding on, unwilling to let go of the love that once felt so real. It's frustrating how something that once brought me so much happiness now fills me with so much pain. How do you reconcile such conflicting emotions when they both live within you? Every day feels like a battle between my heart and my mind, one telling me to move on, the other begging me to hold on to the memories that refuse to fade. I can't seem to escape the grip of the past, no matter how many times I try to move forward. Your memory follows me like a shadow, reminding me of everything that once was and everything that can never be again. Sometimes it feels like I'm drowning in the sea of emotions you left behind, caught in the undertow of thoughts that pull me under and refuse to let me breathe. There are moments when I feel a sense of clarity, when I think I've found my way out of this emotional labyrinth. But then I'm reminded of you, and the path forward becomes unclear once again. It's like trying to move through life with an anchor tied to my heart, constantly weighing me down, holding me back from fully embracing the present because I'm still clinging to the past. I've been told that time heals all wounds, but I wonder sometimes if I'll ever truly heal from this one. It feels like a scar that runs too deep, too intertwined with who I am. The moments we shared feel like a distant memory, a flash of light in the darkness, but the pain of losing you feels all too real, and it lingers with me every single day. It's hard to understand how something that once felt so right could turn so wrong, how something so beautiful could unravel and leave me feeling like I'm piecing together fragments of a broken dream. I keep waiting for the pain to subside, for the emotions to settle, but it feels like I'm stuck in an endless cycle of longing, frustration, and confusion. Sometimes I think I'm over it, that I've moved past the hurt, but then something happens, a memory, a thought, and it all comes rushing back, leaving me questioning everything once again. I try to silence the voice in my head that keeps calling your name, but it's impossible. The connection we shared still echoes within me, and no matter how hard I try, I can't shut it out. I want to forget, to move on, but there's a part of me that holds on to the hope that maybe, just maybe, things could have turned out differently. That hope is both my anchor and my curse. The emotions I feel are like waves crashing against the shore, sometimes calm, sometimes violent, but always constant. I can't escape them, no matter how hard I try. Every time I think I've let go, something pulls me back in. The thoughts of you, the memories of what we had, they refuse to fade, and I can't help but wonder if they ever will. I find myself revisiting the past, replaying every moment in my head, trying to make sense of it all. But every time I do, I'm left with more questions than answers. The emptiness inside me isn't something I would easily explain. It's like a void, a space where something once was, and now nothing remains but the echoes of what could have been. I wish I could turn back time to when everything felt right. But the reality is that we're here and the past is gone. All that remains is the painful reminder of what we lost. The hardest part isn't the loss, it's the uncertainty, the unanswered questions, the unfinished conversations, the lingering feelings that won't let me move forward. I've tried to convince myself that I'm over you, that I've moved on. But the truth is, you still linger in the back of my mind, like a song I can't get out of my head. I keep waiting for the day when I'll finally stop thinking about you, but it seems that day never comes. The thoughts of you still come and go, unexpected and unwelcome. It's exhausting trying to push you out of my mind, trying to escape the emotions that you've left behind. Every time I think I've won, I find myself caught up again, tangled in the past. The hardest part isn't the distance between us. It's the space you left in my heart that no one else can fill. I keep searching for something to fill the void, but nothing ever comes close. The weight of every unsaid word seems to be pressing heavily on my chest, my thoughts tangled in a web of frustration and longing. I can't seem to shake the thought of you, no matter how hard I try to move forward. Every time I think I've moved on, a wave of emotion crashes over me, reminding me of everything that was left unsaid, everything that still haunts my heart. The echoes of our past linger like a bitter taste. I wish I could find peace, but it's like a constant battle within me. Half of me longs for the comfort of what we had, while the other half resents the way it all ended, leaving me feeling empty and lost. I feel like I'm carrying an invisible burden, your memory haunting my thoughts, no matter where I go, no matter how far I run. It's a battle I can't seem to win, and I can't stop myself from revisiting it over and over again. Sometimes the silence between us is louder than any words could ever be. It speaks of all the things we never said, all the things we should have done, and the hurt that lingers long after you're gone. The pain of losing you isn't just in the absence of your presence, but in the memories that continue to surface, uninvited, like an unhealed wound that refuses to close. I try to move on, but it's as if every step I take forward leads me right back to you, to the unresolved emotions, to the unfinished chapters of a story that's still playing out in my mind. It's strange how someone can leave your life physically, but their presence lingers in your thoughts like a shadow, casting doubt and confusion on every decision you make. There are days when the anger within me consumes my every thought, and all I want to do is scream your name, hoping that somehow it will release the tension and the pain that's been building up inside. It's like being stuck in a never-ending loop where the past constantly plays out in my mind, reminding me of all the things I couldn't say, all the ways I was left with questions and no answers. The emptiness you left behind isn't just in the spaces you once occupied, but in the moments where I find myself wondering what could have been if things had been different, if we had fought harder for what we had. I can't stop thinking about the way you made me feel, both cherished and heartbroken all at once. It's a complicated mix of emotions that I can't seem to sort through, and I don't know if I ever will. There's something about the way you've etched yourself into my memory that I can't seem to erase. It's not just your presence I miss, but the way you made everything feel so alive, even in the quietest moments. I wish I could find a way to let go, but every time I think I've moved on, I find myself pulled back into the whirlwind of emotions that still hold me captive, making it impossible to truly break free. It feels like there's a constant tug of war inside me. One part of me wants to forgive, to forget, and to move forward, while the other part of me feels an overwhelming need to hold on to the pain as if it's the only thing left to keep me grounded. Even in the quiet moments when I try to think of something else, your name slips into my thoughts, uninvited, reminding me of everything that was and everything that was lost. There are days when the silence feels suffocating, like a weight pressing down on me, and all I can do is sit with the thoughts of you, feeling the tension of emotions I can't quite untangle. I can't help but replay every conversation, every touch, every look. There's a part of me that wants to find closure, but another part that fears it might never come, leaving me with nothing but questions and empty space. I wonder sometimes if I'll ever find peace within myself again, or if this feeling will always linger like a shadow, a reminder of what once was and what could never be. The heartache that I carry isn't just from losing you, but from the constant questioning of why things went the way they did, why the love we shared turned into something that now feels distant and out of reach. I'm constantly caught between longing for the past and the desire to move on. It's like being stuck in a limbo where nothing feels right and everything feels wrong. Your absence isn't just a physical one, it's the absence of the warmth you once brought, the security you once gave, and the certainty that now feels like a distant memory slipping through my fingers. I wish I could make sense of all the feelings inside me, but it feels like I'm stuck in an emotional maze, searching for a way out, but finding only dead ends at every turn. I've tried to fill the emptiness with other things, but nothing quite compares to the way you made me feel. And yet, the thought of you also brings with it a storm of emotions that I can't seem to escape.